And
but George Bush says the economy's wonderful, and he doesn't lie. There were WMDs in Iraq, and the government loves you, and take your shots. Everything's fine.
I mean, there's so much stuff going on here that I see. There was a roadblock right down the street from my house. There's the sheriff's department, and they were just pulling people over left and right.
Yeah, meanwhile, every month or so, they kill cops on the border, and the media covers it up. This is martial law. Checkpoints from San Diego to Tampa, from Dallas, Texas, to you name it. They are running random checkpoints, searching citizens, locking down neighborhoods, using National Guard for gun confiscation from Illinois to D.C. Brother, we're going into martial law. They're just turning the heat up exactly as we said they would, and it's clear that they're getting ready for a big move. And that probably is releasing a bioweapon so they can pose as saviors. It's probably, setting off a nuke, starting a war. Heaven knows, sir. Murdering psychos are in control. They got a bunch of dumbed-down idiots in government thinking they're God. They've doubled and then tripled the police, so they've got to raise money somehow. So they're going to run checkpoints. And this is it. This is the predatory state. This is it. And it's only going to get worse. The economy's only going to get worse. Things are only going to get worse. CPS is only going to kidnap more children. There's nowhere to run. Every nation's clamping down. It's world government run by psychopathic eugenicists.
Well,
that's why I'm freaking out, brother. There's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, no way out.
And you can't even sell your house or nothing. The market's ridiculous.
Absolutely.
Can't give my house away.
Absolutely. It's a hell pit. It's a hell pit, sir. It's the New World Order. And listen, I appreciate your call. Let me explain something. You think it's bad now, folks? The people running our country killed more than 60 million in Russia. They killed more than 40 million with World War II total. All declassified, they engineered that, the Milner Group out of England. They hired Mao to kill 60 million, now declassified, the CIA put him in. In fact, after the Boxer Rebellion, British intelligence created, that's mainstream news, I bought a 8th grade history book for like $6 at a Barnes & Noble on the discount table a month ago. I finally read it to my son Monday night. And I was blown away as I was reading him this history book that it was accurate and said that the British intelligence created the Communist Party out of the Boxer Rebellion, out of the Armistice Treaty with the central government of China, and then later it admitted basically backed Mao. I mean, it's even mainstream 8th grade picture books. It's so sick. It's so sick. I mean, what he wrote it in 2 books. But memory serves. I could Google right now. I could Google right now Zbigniew Brzezinski. That was the National Security Advisor, Obama's advisor now. I could Google. You do this. Zbigniew Brzezinski. Cambodia quotes or Khmer Rouge quotes or Pol Pot quotes, and you will read that son of a bitch saying that the U.S. government backed Pol Pot and backed the murder of 2 million. That bastard, and that word is not strong enough. That he is bragging about his bones. You think gang members brag about bones, shooting or killing a few people? Well, criminals are the same the world over. He brags about his bones. And that's why when he walks on a New World Order stage, kings and queens look at him with admiration. Because he's made his bones 2 million deep. Not to mention precipitating the Russians and attacking the Russians through the Al-Qaeda in 79, 6 months before they invaded, to suck the Russians into Afghanistan. I'm going to tell you, cops and military and FBI and all of you that serve the system, you're going to laugh at me and you're not going to listen, but when this country's destitute and bankrupt, and when you and your whole family are dying young of soft kill weapons your bosses injected into you, just remember a real American warned you and did everything they could to try to be your brother and to try to get you to face the truth, but you wouldn't do it. More calls. Jim, I understand your concern, but the only thing we can hope for is to fully discredit the government now is to have the government basically stand down, to have the minions stop being minions, and to just let the country collapse and go into a depression, and then expose government-sponsored terror to such a point that they just stop doing that, and the government can only try to hang on. That's the best thing we can hope for, is a stalemate right now. I mean, you better hope the worst you're going to get is ending up having to move in with your parents. You better hope the worst you're going to have to deal with is the U.S. becoming a third world country. Because if they do what they want to do, and I've had former White House chief analysts and historians on, and just CIA top analysts, I've just had scores of experts on, and they all agree, from Richard C. Cook to Ray McGovern, running the gamut, that the elite is preparing a mass extermination op like we saw in Nazi Germany or Russia or China or 100+ other countries. Iran. They're planning the same stuff here. Thank God we have a history of the Second Amendment. Thank God they are, no matter what they try, going to be unable to get all the guns out of our hands. That is the ace in the hole. That is Valhalla to our movement. That is everything, ladies and gentlemen, is those guns. People keep saying, what's the solution? It's expose them, discredit them, show people the full horror. How do you stop John Wayne Gacy? You pull up the floorboards in the floor of his basement and you look at the bodies. You show everybody and go, look, he is a killer. Same thing with the New World Order. You show them how they stage terror, how they're poisoning us, how they said they do it, all the horrible things they're doing. You expose the murderers. And when they laugh at you and say, that doesn't exist, and treat you like a child, and shut up, everything's fine, the government's good, you just keep exposing them. They're discredited already. We've got them. We've blown open their gates in the info war. It's now time to take them down.